So you've got a new laptop now, and I'm going to show you how to do a few things to get it set up and so that it'll work the way that you want it to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in this little search bar here at the bottom, and you're going to type in default. As you start typing that in, you'll see the default apps will show up, and you want to select that, and then you're going to want to scroll down to where you see Microsoft Edge, because we don't usually want to have Microsoft Edge as the default for many of our apps or applications. And so you'll see here that it says Microsoft Edge. I'm going to click on that, and it doesn't give me the option to change it to Chrome, and so I'm just not going to worry about that one. But then I go to the next one, and I will have that option, and I'm going to set that as my default. When you go to PDFs, you see that you do want Adobe Acrobat to be your default for PDFs, or most likely you do. If you have other software that you are using or comfortable using and that you're normally using, then you want to change that, you certainly can. But that's for most of us, that's going to be what we want to use. But it may not already be set that way, and so you'll just need to set it up and make sure that you do set it as your default. And then you're just going to continue going and seeing where you see Microsoft Edge and changing that to Chrome. I'm going to continue doing it as well. And then when you get to FTP, that's going to stay the same. That's the file transfer protocol. That's going to be with Edge. Now, HTTP, that you do want to go to Chrome. When you change that, it usually changes that one as well. And then once you get done with that, the others like Microsoft Edge, that's obviously specific to Edge. And so once you've gotten there, you've probably changed all the ones that you need to worry about changing on those default apps. And so I'm going to close that out. The next thing I want to do is, this is especially true for those of you that use your Ladybug. Visualizer has been the app that we've used for that, but that is no longer, that's not going to be continue to be supported. And so your Microsoft Camera app is actually can be used for that. And so if it shows up in the top apps, you can just right click on it and then pin to taskbar. It's just kind of nice to have it down there ready to use whenever you need it. If it doesn't show up, you can just search for camera, and the camera app will come up, and then you can just right click on it and pin it to the taskbar, or if you like it on the start menu or wherever it is, however you prefer to find it. It's just helpful to go ahead and get those things set up the way you like it and the way you need it. So that's switching the camera, using camera app for your Ladybugs or document cameras instead of Visualizer is going to be the kind of the main thing we're going to start using. Next, we want to make sure we've got multiple displays. So I've got this connected to my my docking port. And so I've got an extra screen, and then I've also got the smart panel. And so I'm just going to hold down the window button and then hit P. And when I do that, I just want to make sure that I'm on extend display, not duplicate. Now, if you prefer duplicate, that might be your preferred method of using these, but generally I would say extend is going to be the most useful when you have multiple displays. And so then I've done that, and now I'm going to right click just in an open field, and I'm going to go to display settings. And when I do that, I'm going to see that I've got multiple displays here. It already kind of defaults there. If it's not opened up, you can just open it up and you'll see. I do like it to have, remember, window location based on monitor connection, minimize windows when a monitor is disconnected, and ease cursor movement between displays. Okay, so those are all checked. And then it says make this my main display. So that is number one is my laptop screen, and the one that when you make that your main display, that's where your icons are going to show up, and that's probably the preferred place for your icons to show up. And so it makes sense for that to be checked. Now, you also want to set up your screens depending upon how your classroom is and where the screens are in relation to where your laptop is set up. You may need to move these around. And so I'm going to click identify, and I'm going to say, okay, so you can see that my laptop screen is a 1. My actual secondary monitor is 3, and then my smart panel is 2. And just the way my room is set up, I like to have the extra monitor right above. It's also helpful not to have a little gap. You want to have those like right on top of each other. Otherwise, sometimes like it's hard for it to go through from one screen to the next. And so make sure they're side by side. And then here I've got my smart panel as well here. And so that's how I like it set up. I've identified it. And everything is good. If it's not noticing your display, make sure you do have your smart panel on HDMI 1 and then detect, and then it should help you with that. It should detect it, and then you should be able to adjust these things and identify everything that you need to. So that is how to do that. Similarly, when you've got that smart panel set up, you'll need to click on this arrow and you can see where it says Smartboard, or you hover over this icon and it says Smartboard. You click on it and then it gives you some options here to orient your display. And when you do that, sometimes it will put the orienting the display right on your laptop, and that's not where you need to orient the display. So if you just simply tap the space bar, it'll put it on a different screen, and then just keep tapping it until it ends up on the screen on the smart panel itself. And once you do that, go over to the smart panel and use the markers to orient your display and make sure that it's all set up good to go. So those are just some quick tips on how to get your laptop set up and ready to go. Let me know if you have any questions or have any problems. Reach out to me and Miss Jeske with your new laptops. Thanks.